Suddenly I hear screaming, "Stop the law!" and something in Arabic, and "Shaitan, haram," yeah, this thing and that. He's shouting and he's screaming, and I was surrounded by cops with guns. This actually happened where, like, Hollywood cops, like a movie, you take all the cops surrounding one guy and taking the guns to shoot him. This actually happened. I thought I was going to get shot dead. Because of my tattoos, by the way. He told me, "You are not allowed UAE. UAE is Islamic country. This is haram." He was telling me, and he started using terms like he was using terms like, yeah, this is shaitan, this is haram, this is jinn, black magic. So I was like, now what do I do? What do I tell him? All right. I received this message from a subscriber. Good comment, good question he had put below one of my videos. His name is Willie Jones _dash VW2UH. He says, "Sir, please, one video about the weirdest experience you had with people because of your tattoos." Okay, so I thought that was a good topic. I didn't make one since long, so I thought I'll share with you. But just be warned, it has slight adult content, slightly. Okay, so if you're listening to this in front of your children and all that, be careful. Okay, all right. So I'll give you the good, bad, ugly off my head, whatever I remember. See, the normal day-to-day ones are like when I was in Dubai. I would get small children pointing to their mum and dad. Mummy, look, Spider-Man. Okay, that was very common. Mummy, look, Spider-Man. And so I would be like, ooh, And then here also you do get sometimes Thai children. Then, especially these kids who are coming. There are a lot of Russian tourists who come here, and now many of them are staying here. They're like, the kid will, "Mommy," and something they will say and point at me, and I'm like, ooh, the smile. Okay. That is normal. Over here in Thailand, do people stare? They don't stare because one is, it's a very small place. People are used to it. If someone has not seen me and they're looking at me for the first time, especially sometimes you have these cleaners, construction workers. I don't know if you have seen it. Sometimes these pickup trucks pass by with a lot of laborers from Cambodia or Myanmar. They will look and, they will look like this. And yes, it's not uncommon to have people pull out their smartphones and take a video when I'm walking. I've even had ladies stop their scooter and actually film like this. So I'm like, is it rude? Yeah, it is kind of rude, but whatever. I've had Indian tourists who come here, and I've spoken about this. 7-Eleven, yeah, these 2-3 Indian guys or 4-5 loud making, "Hey, bosidi ke chutiye idhar aa, this, that, isko dekh, iski dekh." And then when they saw me, "Arey, ye chutiye ko dekh, hey, dekh. And then they'll take a camera. Just imagine, like, explicitly on my face, he's taking. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then, and what I didn't like was, then he would start showing my wife and showing me. And I guess he had a little bit of common sense to know not to film the kid. Because if he had continued, like, he just did like this, and then he went back to me, I would have straight away told him, I'd have confronted him and called the tourist police. Then he would be in trouble. Okay, so you get people like that also. Now, when I travel, you'll be surprised. When I travel, people say, "Oh, don't they stop you at immigration?" I mean, there's nothing to stop. I'm already pulling so much of attention to me. If I was going to do something illegal, I wouldn't draw attention to me. And then, yes, people have this, oh, they might think you're a Mexican cartel or a underworld guy or mafia and all that. Well, I have my passport, no? So they check my passport, they check the details. I'm pretty sure if they have to take finger scans, and in Dubai you had finger scans, eye scan, face scan. Face scan came only lately after I left. But they used to have finger scan, eye scan. And I had tattoos on my face then. I didn't have any criminal record. There was nothing. So I was fine. But yeah, the weird bits were in Thailand. I didn't see it happening other places. The immigration officer was checking my passport. Both while traveling and coming back, he would say, hey, can I take a photo? He'd actually ask me. And I would be very courteous. I said, fine, no problem. Then he would come out of, they are behind a glass, this thing now, enclosure. So he's sitting there, he's little up. So I'm looking up. So then he says, can I take photo? I say, okay. Then he comes out and he stands, and I have to be courteous. I can't put my arm around him and all that. So I would just stand like this, smile, you take a photo, and sometimes you take a video. Hey, something you would say, and that's fine. I don't take it personally. So immigration people have done that. Cops have done that. Have I been stopped by cops here? No, absolutely not. They have never stopped me. The only time I remember was once I was driving my scooter. That was the only time in 6 years or 7 years that they put the siren, the red and blue light, and and they kind of signaled to me, come side. I stopped. They just wanted to check my driver's license. I showed it to them. I actually thought that they wanted to go front, so I moved at the side. I drove a little fast and moved aside. They thought maybe I was running away from them, so I moved a little bit faster. But then when I stopped, I was going slow because I thought they wanted to go. But then when he said stop, I stopped. That was the only time. But the bad incidents I have had with in Qatar, when I was going to a transition to Dubai. I think it was from Thailand. Qatar Airways, they stopped at Qatar, and then we had to take another flight from Qatar to Dubai. And, they allocate seats. I'd asked for a window seat, but there was none. So I said, fine, whatever seat you can give me. So, there are two aisles, right? There's an aisle in between this, seats here, seats here. So they had kept me here, which is close to, where you can see the people walking up and down. So I'd given my ticket and I'd moved, showed my ticket. She said, please have a seat here. I sat down. I was wearing full black, minding my own business, doing nothing, reading a book. And then I didn't notice at that time, but there was one Arab, I think Arab girl sitting near the window. Okay? Muslim, Arab, you can make out. And there was a young man, okay? Young man or something. I just sat down. I was not bothered about them. Suddenly I hear screaming, stop the law, and something in Arabic, and shaitan, haram, this thing and that. He's shouting and he's screaming, and immediately looked up like, what the fuck is happening? And this one guy was completely Arab, and his wife both stood up, and they were pointing at me, and they were screaming and shouting. Screaming, huh? Like, I didn't understand what he was saying. So then the cabin crew, that female who was helping us sit, she's like speaking in Arabic, what happened? And then he was pointing towards me, and I couldn't make sense. And then one other cabin crew came there, and finally when they asked, I asked what happened. No, they are angry that you're sitting here. They want the family to sit together. They don't want to sit near you. And then one other guy at the side, he was Arab, but he didn't wear any, the Arabic dress. He was saying, they're saying that you're the devil, you're shaitan, you're evil. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So then, to calm him down, they had to ask that boy and the girl to come out. So I stood up, I moved back, they came out. And I think to keep them happy, they upgraded them to, I don't know, business class or something. Where to me, that lady came and she apologized. I'm sorry, sir. This. I said, that's perfectly fine. So I said, I would suggest you keep someone who is comfortable with my appearance. She said, is it okay? I can give you a seat somewhere else in a few minutes. I said, I'm perfectly fine. I'm very flexible. I told her, if you can give me a window seat, it would help. So she was, oh, sure, sure, sure. So then she made me sit next to, I think, a Filipino or something. Yeah. So that has been a common thing. Surprisingly, in Dubai, after I landed, not the same flight, another flight, I was standing in line, you have to stand in line, no, for putting a passport. Then one guy came and he came walking, like, big guy with white, Arabic dress. And there was a cop pointing at me. Maybe they saw it from the camera. So this guy walked right up to me and everyone's watching because he's walking very aggressively. So I was just quiet, I just mind my own business. So he said, you come. He removed that, that chain-like thing, no? And took me out. Then he took me to the, I think, immigration manager of the airport or something, because there was a big office and he told me stand outside. He took my passport. He went inside. And I could literally hear them raising their voice and talking loudly with each other. And then finally, the guy came out. He gave me my passport and said, go, same line. And he stormed off. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I took my passport, went to the line. It's only at Dubai airport whenever, surprisingly, whenever I used to come, they used to ask me to go through. There is one, after you pull your luggage, before you exit the airport, they always have asked me to go through the extra checking, where they'll open your luggage and two cops and all that. They will remove every single thing and check. And, they will try to see, do you have secret compartments? They would recheck again. And then they would take me one side and, in like a enclosed temporary kind of makeshift room. And they would check, okay? And they would ask me, where are you from? Why you come here? And you have anything, you smoke, weed, this, that. I tell him, Baba, I stayed in UAE my whole life. And they would be shocked because they didn't know, right? But anyway, they were doing their job, so I was not angry with them or upset with them. And yes, the only other incident I can recollect is once there was an accident near Dera city center, a shopping mall, where there was a Jaguar, really high-end car. I was behind him and there was a car behind me, and I was driving I think cheap-ass Toyota car. I'm not too sure. I just bumped into him. My car got smashed. His car, nothing happened. Not even a scratch. So that is where I understood these high-end, expensive vehicles are very strong. Mine just crumpled like paper. And behind, the guy smashed into me. So it was a 3-car accident. So we were waiting outside. The guy from the Jaguar was an Indian. He said, are you all right? Are you all right? He was nice. The guy behind, he said, I'm sorry. We were like, all nice. Cops came. The cop guy checked the Jaguar. He gave him a white slip because he's not at fault. Me gave me a pink slip because I hit. The guy behind, pink slip. Okay. So the first guy, cop said, go. Second guy, cop. Behind me, cop guy said, go. And I was waiting for him to tell me, go. But he told me, you wait. I was like, okay, I'm waiting. I stood there, he was making calls. Then finally he said, Yalla, you follow me, come with me. I was like, it didn't make sense. First guy went, last guy went. I was like, yeah, but these other guys, they went. No, you come, tal, you come with me. Okay, I followed him. He took me to Dubai police station. Dera police station. Is it Birdby Dera? Where? This is near the exact location. Yeah, it is Dera. Sorry, it is Dera police station. Okay. Opposite was, I think, a petrol station. So he takes me there. I park the car. He's Tal, come. Finally, he goes. There is a, senior inspector, station in charge for that day. He took me at around 4:05 in the evening. Accident had taken place at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I sat outside. They told me he went inside the office speaking, and then the inspector looked like this. And then I was sitting there. Then finally, Tal, come. So I came there. He said, Leish, from where you? I said, I'm from India. Where you stay? I told him I stay in Sharjah. How you come UAE? How I come? I told him I have a visa. I work here. I stay here. I've been here, 30 years plus. No. La. He was saying, you not allow. You sit here. He made me sit in front of him at the side. And then he started to make phone calls and he started to, check. And he told me, you are not allowed UAE. UAE is Islamic country. This is haram. He was telling me. And he started using terms like he was using terms like, yeah, this is shaitan, this is haram, this is jinn, black magic. So I was like, now what do I do? What do I tell him? So he made me wait from 5 all the way to 12 in the night. And in between, he had taken me inside for interrogation. One other guy asked me a question. They took my fingerprints. And then they put me against the wall and they called their official photographer who took photographs. He was a Keralite Muslim, big. And then I asked him, problem kya hai? I asked him in Hindi. He's saying, ye kya hai? Because he's also Muslim. Ye haram hai, ye shaitan hai. He's telling me, you are the devil. He's saying, he's telling me, tumko khalas, jail mein dalega, bar fekega. Means throw me out. I was like, what the hell did I do? I just kept quiet. I was only afraid that because I think it was a Thursday, because remember, Friday, Saturday, those days were a holiday. So I was afraid that he would keep me locked up in jail for 2 nights. So that was my only fear. But fortunately, later on he told me, you go home in Hindi, but pack all your bags because you're getting thrown out of UAE. So I was really, really upset. I was really worried. I was really scared. And even though it was late night, almost like 12, 11 or 12 or whatever. After I got out, I immediately called my mentor. The ex-head of the Dubai police and ambulance section, and he used to work in the CID, and he's an Emirati. He's my mentor for, that time 16 years plus 20 years. So I called him and I said, Colonel, with love and affection, I call him Colonel, because that time he was a colonel in the army, now he's a major. He retired as a major. So I told him, Colonel, can I talk to you? Yeah, Loy, you can talk to me. I told him what happened. He carefully listened. He said, did you do anything? Did they catch anything? I said, nothing. This is just what it is. He said, shaitan. Saying, okay, don't worry, go home. I'll look into it. I said, fine. Oh, I'll tell you, those next 2 days were the hardest. I found it hard to sleep. I found it hard to anything. Finally, on Sunday, Saturday was off. Sunday, I went there. I was so scared. I again called up, Murad, my mentor, and don't worry, I've already spoken. You just don't worry. Just go and answer the questions. I said, okay. I went there, same place. That same guy was there in his office. He was looking at me very sternly. He basically didn't like me. And then I went all the way up to I was told by one cop guy, go up to meet the main head of that, post. So I went there. It was really a big office. I had to climb, on stairs. And then finally, they asked me to come in. He was the senior most. You could make out the stars and all that. And he had a long beard. He was a mutawa. Mutawa means person who has dedicated his life to God. I don't know the exact definition, but Muslim who has dedicated his life to God and, prayer. And I was very afraid that he would completely decimate me because, he's super religious. That other guy, inspector, he was just average, but he still believed so much in God. This guy is super religious, so I was expecting finished. So when he called me and he said, have a seat, please sit down, he was very polite. And then first thing he asked me is, why you did this to your face? Why? Mashallah, you have nice face. Why you did this? Like a father figure, I said, I just kept quiet. I said, just did it. So he kept quiet. He's saying, I spoke to Murad in very good English. Spoke to Murad. Murad said, you are a good man. He's saying, I respect Murad a lot. He said, you're a good man. You look like this, but you're a good man. So I just kept quiet. I didn't smile, nothing. He's saying, okay, Mr. Loy. He gave me my passport back. I apologize. What happened? It was a misunderstanding. Imagine, he's apologized, such a big guy. He could have just told me, go. He said, don't need to worry, everything is fine. So he stood up. I stood up to give him respect. He could have just stayed there. You will not believe he took me out. He escorted me all the way out. And in between, that inspector guy, he saw me and he was like, he told him in Arabic, you go inside. And then he told him, I apologize, and he left me there. Would you like us to call a cab? I said, no, it's okay, sir. He said, okay, Mr. Roy, thank you very much. And what a gentleman. And I was like, So that was another crazy episode. But yeah, the adult one, you want to know the adult one, right? The adult one was where, you will not believe this if I tell you, but I actually had a porn star. Seriously, no joke, not exaggerating. A porn star who insisted on meeting me. She found me through Facebook because I was part of the tattoo clubs and Filipino tattoo clubs and all that. And, my face was always displayed because nobody else had a tattoo on his face, only me. So she sent me a message on this thing. I didn't know she was a porn star that time. She was a foreigner. And she also had many tattoos up to her neck, but not face, just here, flower and here and there. And she said, I want to meet you. I said, fine, girls. Those days I was a playboy. So we met, we first met at the tattoo festival. When she found out I was coming there, she was the featured person there because, foreigner who has come from abroad. And she has amazing tattoo work on her body. So I went there to the venue and we met up and, she was very nice and all that. I didn't know until then she was a porn star. And then later on, after we both, got acquainted, the event got over, she was talking to me. Then she said, why don't you come over to my place? I was like, oh, okay, no problem. Don't mind. So she said, come. And she was staying in Sheikh Zayed Road, okay, posh locality. And she had an apartment. I don't know how she could afford that, but there were a couple of guys who were there. And she took me to her little bedroom, okay. And then I was like, we were just talking. I was lying down on the bed and I said, what do you do? She said, I'm a porn star. I was like, I thought she was joking. And then I said, come on, like, what do you do? No, seriously, I'm a porn star. And she showed me some of, she came to me. She showed me some of her on the phone. And she was lying next to me. She was showing me her phone. It was nice. And, then what would slowly happen? Slowly, as she was showing the videos, got a little turned on and had jing bang. Only unfortunate thing was I came too fast. Why? Because I think the whole experience, I was not prepared for it. I was really not prepared. I shouldn't have climaxed so fast. But whatever, she didn't mind. She was perfectly okay. And then after we got fresh, she actually made something. It was still night, made food for me and all. And she was like, I find you very hot and this and that. And you're so different. And she was surprised I was Indian because she said, I've seen Indian men, nothing like you. I said, yeah, I was born and raised here. She said, no, even Indians here. I said, yeah, I'm just a little different. She even asked me if I would be interested in the industry, which I said no. She said, you can meet a lot of girls who will go crazy for you. But she said, it's going to be very hard. You'll have to know how to make it hard on the click. I was like, okay. I did ask a couple of questions about the porno industry. She gave me all the details. I had, we had a lengthy conversation until wee hours of the morning, and then I left. And I think what surprised her was I actually called her the following day. And I said, I really appreciate our meeting. Like, I said, could we meet up again? If not your house, a coffee shop, I just want to ask you questions because I'm just curious about the industry. Like, why do people get into it? Because, that time there was no way of knowing it. I remember the documentary Pornocopia. So, yeah, she was the one who told me about it, yeah. So, at first she told me I'm busy for the next 2-3 days. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to push this thing. I just honestly want to ask you a question. She says, no, I like you also. You're a nice guy. She said, let's meet after 2-3 days. Fine. Met after 2-3 days. Oh, I don't know. We shouldn't have met outside at the coffee shop because the amount of stares we both were getting was bloody crazy. And yes, people were secretly filming us. So, yeah, this was the craziness. Anyway, you wanted to know the crazy incidents that took place, right? There's one more, but I don't want to put it on this video. And that is the most dramatic one where I was surrounded by cops with guns. I made this video, but I don't know which video it is, very long ago. This actually happened where, like, Hollywood cops, like a movie, you take all the cops surrounding one guy and taking the guns to shoot him. This actually happened. So I don't know if you have seen the video or you know about the incident. If you don't know and you're interested, just comment down below that you're interested to know about this incident. I'll make a separate video on it. And it is a separate video and it's crazy. Yeah, so that one will be... I just remembered it just now. It was very much like a Hollywood movie. And believe me, real guns, I thought I was going to get shot dead. Because of my tattoos, huh? By the way. I got featured on national TV. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know your thoughts if you're interested to know about this particular incident. And keep those questions coming to this guy. What's his name again? Willie Jones, VW2HUH. Thank you very much for sharing this question. Again, interesting questions, topics like this, let me know. Love making videos on them. Guys, take care. It's me signing off.